Hello YouTube, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Tips, and today what I'm going to do is I've got my silver cell running over here, and I've kind of run low on the shot for it. There's the anode basket. You can see it's getting kind of low in there. I've got some shot down here, but I'm getting to the bottom of the barrel. I'm going to go ahead and add some more of this shot to the anode basket. You get the rest of it in there, but then what I'm going to do is I've got some cement silver sitting over here behind me, and what I'm going to do is I found a great way to make silver shot to put in this silver cell, and I'm going to share that with you. It was actually given to me by another viewer. He looked at my shot video, how I made shot by pouring it over ice, and he said the best way to do it, rather than pouring it over the ice, would be to drill a small hole in the bottom of a melt dish. And so that's what I've done here. It's about a 2mm hole in the bottom of this melt dish. It's plugged up with silver from the last time that I did this experiment. I've got a torch set up down here to go ahead and direct a flame to the bottom of the melt dish to keep that thing hot as I do this process. Down inside of my tank of water here, I'm using a metal container of water, and I've got a little aquarium or a fountain pump that I've put in here to circulate the water. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some ice in here and get the water cold. Here I have some cement silver that I rendered from silver chloride using lye and sugar. And then up here I've got some cement silver that I cemented out on copper. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and melt the silver in this dish with some ice in here, and allow that silver to pour down through that little hole, and you'll see it form some nice little shot. I'm going to go ahead and do that for you right now. Alright, I just wanted to go back and give you a little bit more detailed view of my silver cell here. I've got my power supply set at 3.5 volts. That's giving me 1.2 amps of current traveling through the cell. This is the positive side of the cell. Here I have a 3 amp inline fuse, and what I have that there for is in case the silver crystal growth reaches up and touches the anode basket, that fuse will blow and save my batch of silver. Otherwise it'll burn a hole through the bag and contaminate the whole bag. That comes down and hooks onto my anode bar here up in my anode basket. The negative side comes off the negative side of the power supply here and goes down and connects to the bowl. I'm using a stainless steel bowl here as the cathode, and then I've got some leader wires that come out and go on either side to distribute the electrical current. And then what happens is the current passes through the silver in the anode basket there. It's got some Dacron filter bags, vacuum cleaner filter bags that I bought at Lowe's. And what happens is any remnants from the silver gets trapped in that filter, and then the pure silver dissolves from the electrical current and travels through this silver nitrate electrolyte, and then it plates out inside the stainless steel bowl. The anode basket, as you can see, is submerged in the electrolyte there, and so that completes the circuit for the power supply. Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit more about this setup that I have here. This is a steel ring. I would shy away from using an aluminum ring there because it gets pretty hot and aluminum might fall apart or try to melt on you. I've got a brick over here as a counterweight, holding everything down and making everything nice and sturdy. I've just got this torch just laying on the sill here of my fume hood. And about this silver, this is silver that came from silver chloride that I converted to silver oxide with some sodium hydroxide, and then I converted the silver oxide to pure elemental silver metal with sugar. And this is probably 3/9 fine, just like it is. I could melt this up and make some 999 fine silver bars, but I choose to run it through my silver cell anyway, just to be sure. And this cement silver here is silver that was cemented on copper, and it's going to be contaminated. It's going to be about 99.5% pure silver, but you can see there's a little bit of green on it. That's mainly from the copper, and so we'll run this through the electrolytic silver cell and get it to high purity silver as well. That's the reason we run these two things through the silver cell, is to make sure that we've got high purity silver. Oh, one more thing before I get started here. The reason I don't run the powdered silver like it is through the anode basket is because I tried that early on in an experiment, and it tended to clog the filter bag up very quickly. So I found that the best form to use is silver shot, and that's why I melt my cement silver into silver shot. You could melt it into bars as well, but the silver shot presents more of a surface area to the anode basket, so it dissolves better in the anode basket going through the silver cell. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add some cement silver to my crucible. It's got the little 2mm hole in it here. Here I've got a large piece of ice that I put in a cottage cheese container. I'm just going to submerge that in the water and release it out of that container as one large chunk of ice. And then once that thing gets loose from that container, I'll remove the container, and then I'll go ahead and light my torch off, and we'll start this process. I've got my mask on. I'm going to go ahead and start my fume hood, and I'm going to light these torches up. I'm going to put a face shield on, and I'm going to go ahead and melt this shot up for you.
more ice in. It's starting to weld together in the warmer water.
been about an hour since I concluded the melting. We'll go ahead and take the pump out now. And this dish is cool enough to handle. We'll take this in and dump this water out and dry it out and get a measurement on it. Alright, we'll dump this water out. This was just tap water. Don't have to use distilled water for this. It's just tap water. And as you can see there, some nice silver granules that we can run through the electrolytic silver cell. Now I'll put it on some low heat. We'll evaporate off all the water, and then we'll weigh it up and see how much silver we got. I've got the silver granules nice and dried out here in the metal container. Got a scale here. I'm going to put me a container on the scale. Tare the scale to 0. And then we're going to pour this silver and see how much we got in weight here in grams. $1,240.9 grams. 1.2 kilos of silver that we're going to be running through our electrolytic silver cell. What I'll do now is go ahead and top off the anode basket here in my silver cell. And I've got this cement silver yet to be melted. What I'll do is when this runs low, I'll set that back up and melt the rest of that. That's probably 2.5–3 kilos of silver there. So, okay, this will conclude the video on how to make these granules of silver to run through my electrolytic silver cell. This was a far superior method than I was using. I was using a electric melt furnace and pouring it over ice, and this is just a way better way to do it. It was pointed out to me from one of my viewers who looked at my video where I was using ice, and he said drill a hole in the bottom of one of them melt dishes and let the silver pour down into the water, and you come up with some nice granules. And I agree, it's a far superior method. So this is the method I'll be using from now on to make the silver granules for my electrolytic silver cell. Thanks for watching.